Hello guys, welcome back to GamingMech channel. In today's video, we will solve a problem based on reversing a linked list. How to reverse all the links. All the data which are present in a specified link, or, and how to reverse them from order. In reversing them. The basic logic of this is basically we have to take two integer data types of I and j, which will denote the place of first and also the second and the last, the place of the last. And just by considering, uh, first let's study the question first. Basically, uh, here he has taken 1 points to 2 points to 3 and also not. Uh, we have to show here the first input. He has given the first input, the sample input. The first one is number of test cases, I think so. Yeah, it's the first line contains an integer t, the number of test cases, and also the second number in t, how many elements in that linked list. Number of links, basically number of links in that linked list, and also these are the elements. The data which is present in those linked lists. So uh, this is the output. He has taken only one test case, so he's showing that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's get into the logic. Here he will give default some sort of code, which here the only one thing I like this in this hacker rank is he will only ask about us. He only mainly he his intention is to only write the logic only. We need to write only logic, not repeatedly writing like scanning, scanf, printf. There's no such need. There is no such need like writing those all some repeated stuff which makes us some sort of lag. Okay. Uh, let's get into the logic first. I will consider two, two which points to the same sort of that linked list. Two pointers which point to the same sort of that list. I mean, so here for the first one will remains at the first position. Head, which points to the head, and also second which also points to head, but it repeatedly moves to the it moves to the last position to swap. Then when we move to the last position, we will swap that pointer. The pointer which points to that one, that data, and we will swap the both. So this is the basic logic. I want to say this. Okay. If we consider list is equal to null, first list is equal to null. As in the starting only we have read that if we have a pointer of the head of the linked list, the head of the pointer given may be null. Yeah, is given a case. See here, given may be a null, meaning that the initial list is empty. So for that case, I have written this if case. If list is equal to null, then return list. So if there is no any elements or anything in that list, it will return the simply null value. Or else well, this here the main logic comes into action. While p not equal to null, this the main reason I have taken this is to count. I need the length of the linked list. How many data elements, that data for that count I have taken this while p not equal to null, and it goes on and the count value increases. I took j is equal to count minus 1 because initially it will, for first data it will take count is equal to 1, right? So but here I is equal to 0 to n minus 1. So the total elements would be how much? Total elements would be count, the value equal to count. So in order to get the value equal to count, I took the j is equal to count minus 1. So p is equal to list again, because I just used p to count only. Then I should again give its value to, again it should point to list now. To swap the elements we need to again get it back to p. So I had initialized, I had declared again it's to p. So while I is less than j, the main logic comes into action. Where I is less than j, k is equal to 0. I'll take an integer data type k is equal to 0 in order to move the q. When pointer q, you have to move the pointer q and hold the linked list, right? So I will move that q, pointer q using this q while k is less than j, q is equal to q2 next, and also k increases. Where updation is needed now. I mean, while loop updation is needed, so I will k plus plus. So on it will goes to while k is less than j up to j it will go to j minus 1. So when it reaches its fix, the value where it needed to be swapped from the first one or the the pointer p points. So here the swapping takes place. Temp is equal to in the temp which we took the p into data value will be stored. The data which is there in that pointer p is pointing, that data will be stored into temp. Similarly, Q2 temp data will be stored in pin, and then also this is the process of swapping. Swap here the process swapping will done, and after that P should increment now. Otherwise, the same in the same position P should point to the next pointer. So I take that P is equal to P to next, and Q is equal to list. Q is equal to list because again it should go from Q is equal to list. If it had points, if it points to head, J also decreases. So here again from starting to it will reaches to the point where it should be go. I mean it will come to backwards. I mean suppose if we take 1 2 3 4 5 at the initial stage it is at q will points to the fifth position at the 5. So j decreases, j minus minus. So it will goes to j will be at the fourth position. So we take q is equal to again to the head pointer. I mean it will shows the data which is at the first position. So it will goes up to 4. Again it will goes up to 4. So this way this process whole process continues. So and finally all the elements will be swapped for while I is less than j is used because if I is greater than j then it will also increases. I mean if I is greater than j the same process will repeat again. I mean the swap already gets swapped and reversed linked list again starting to be reversed. So this case should not be done. So that's the reason why I used this I is less than j case here. So that if I is greater than j, it automatically quits this while loop. I mean, it all automatically breaks this while loop, and finally it will returns the list. Okay, let's run this code. Yeah, it passed the two test cases, basic test cases. Let's submit and try it for all test cases, all six test. Okay, it's working for all six test cases. So this is one of the basics in linked list, guys. And also I want to mention about another case, printing in reverse, not changing them totally, not changing that whole linked list, not swapping them, but printing them in reverse. In this sort of case we have to do, I mean my approach was to taking an integer pointer array and storing the I mean what it points to the head list points to the first pointer, taking all that elements into this dynamic integer array point using pointer, and after that uh, using a for loop for I is equal to n minus 1. So it starts from n minus 1 point and taking an pointer which points to the head. I mean which points to the head and inserting all these values into that pointer. I mean like for I is equal to n minus 1, uh, uh, for I is equal to n minus 1, I is greater than 0, I minus minus and I minus minus and taking star of a plus I. Star of a plus I is equal to, I mean sorry, uh, head I mean p2 data. P is a pointer which points to the head part of the given linked list. P2 data is equal to star of a plus I. So all that values from back side, I mean from last side like 5 4 3 2 1, all that gets inserted into the p2 data, and it also becomes p2 next, right? Repeatedly p2 next, and also using in that for loop only p2 next. So this way we can print them in reverse order. No? This is the value. I mean, this is some sort of printing them in reverse order. taking some random one in P. Now see, this is them printing in reverse order. Or simply we can do star of taking them into an integer array and returning that same sort of integer array. As it is also a pointer now. Returning that same pointer. Returning that same pointer will shows that array which is showing the reverse order. But initially the head pointer is not reversing. Did you observe that? I mean, you should observe that the initial pointer is not reversing. So this is the basic logic I want to say. There are two types of questions asked in it. One is printing in reverse order and doing wholly in a reverse order, reversing a total linked list. Okay, guys, this is for today's video. I'm trying to say, I mean, I'm trying to say it in English. If you are having any problem with this, just comment me. If you have any problem with my English, we are all we all are in the sort of learning stage only. Okay, guys, thank you. If you like the video, hit a like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you, guys.